Hey, what's up everybody? It's your girl Kenesha. Welcome back to my channel. Typically, I like talking about luxury, lifestyle, and mindset. Today, I have a review coming at you with the Louis Vuitton Samur BB and the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis, a classic. I figured I'd do this one, last one for the road. I'll show you guys a little bit of a comparison between these two. I figured I would since I had the Samur BB still in my possession. I really think the Pochette Métis is a classic, and I think the Samur is a classic that they redid, Louis Vuitton redid from the Samur 30 back in the 90s. The Pochette Métis was one of the hottest bags coming out over the past decade that they've continued releasing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about these two. If you're interested in that, I hope you'll like and subscribe, and you will stay tuned for more. All right, so let's get into it. And I will insert the dimensions, but you can clearly see right off the bat that the Samur BB is smaller than the Pochette Métis, quite a bit smaller. The Samur BB is 7 inches across, a little bit more than that. It is 6 inches in height, 6.3 I believe, and then the depth is 3 inches. And you can see with the Pochette Métis on the sides, it looks like that the Pochette Métis is about 2 inches, 2.5, because it's got this thin back pocket, then it's got this front pocket, but ultimately the bag does expand. When you look at the Samur BB, you can see that it looks like the bag should be able to expand, but there's definitely not as much room to do so because the buckles on the side are not as functional as they could have been. I think Louis Vuitton could have added an extra hole and allowed this bag to really open up a little bit more, similar to the Pochette Métis. The other details on the side is, as you can see, the Samur BB has this buckle on both sides, and they both have the D-ring on the side, and you can see that Louis Vuitton did the right thing in sewing down these tabs. On the Pochette Métis, we also have a little bit of a grommet there, and then the vachetta is sewn down to the canvas. When you look at the front of the bags, I really appreciate the Samur BB having the extra vachetta and all that detail, as well as a functional clasp that you can open easily just by pulling it forward, and then it easily snaps closed with a strong magnetic closure, versus the Pochette Métis is a little bit more complicated. I remember when I first got this bag, I didn't know how to work the S-lock, but then it's very easy once you get the hang of it. You just squeeze the 2 dials together and the bag opens up. The vachetta on this is raw vachetta, as is the vachetta on the Samur BB. You can see that the vachetta on the Pochette Métis is very much minimal. Very, very minimal, and I love that. Versus the Samur BB has a lot of vachetta that's probably not to too many's taste, but I still appreciate the look of both bags because I do believe they look classically like Louis Vuitton. If you're into classic bags like I am, then you'll probably appreciate the look of both of these bags. So when you turn around the bags, you'll notice that they both have a back pocket. I love a back pocket, especially one that is functional and can hold a phone. Both of these bad boys can hold a phone. So let's take a look. When you open up the back pocket of the Pochette Métis, it has the microfiber internal lining, and it goes all the way to the bottom, and it does fit a phone. The Samur BB, the back pocket, is also lined with microfiber lining, and then it has this vachetta strip that goes down the back. It does fit a full-size phone. I have the i14 Pro Max, and it does fit in here with a case on it. It's just a little bit tight. So that's the only thing to think about when you're putting things in this back pocket. I do think that you got to be a little bit careful the sides and how much you stuff back there if the bag is full. The difference on the top of these bags is they both have vachetta on them. My Pochette Métis is covered by tulle right now. Both bags are raw vachetta. So that's the reason why I like the Pochette Métis. You can protect it a little bit by covering it up, versus the Samur BB, you're really not going to have that option. The option that people talk about doing right now is spraying it with Apple Guard or spraying the leather with some sort of leather protectant so that if the rain hits it, it's covered. Personally, I do not spray my bags. I typically try to tan them if I'm going to do anything to protect it, which is the reason why I appreciate that Louis Vuitton has started coming out with pre-treated leather. Although for whatever reason, they didn't give us the pre-treated leather on the new Samur BB. I thought that was a miss. When you get into these bags, you can already see that the Pochette Métis has canvas on the lining. And then the interior is lined in microfiber, and we'll get into that. And then the Samur BB has microfiber lining, not canvas at the top, and then the bag is lined all the way through with microfiber lining. Samur BB, they're giving us 2 straps with the Samur BB versus the Pochette Métis. They haven't modernized it yet to give us 2 straps, so this is still the old version that comes with the 1 monogram strap versus the Pochette Métis East-West. They do give you 2 straps with that baby. You get the monogram strap as well as a chain strap, and I think that's great improvement that they do there. I have one of my wallets in here. I like that the Pochette Métis can fit a full-size wallet. I also have the zippy organizer that can fit in here, but I prefer the slim purse. This is the wallet that I use if I'm going to be carrying a full-size wallet because it's nice and slim in the profile, but it's quite functional. It has all of the space for your cards, as well as space for dollars, as well as an extra slip pocket on the front. So I really, really liked the slim purse. And I like how it easily fits into the Pochette Métis and doesn't take up a lot of space. My Pochette Métis was made in France, and the Samur BB that I received was made in Italy. I always think Italy, Spain, France, they do a great job. Spain, they're on the cusp, but Italy and France typically do a great job. USA, they're on the cusp. So both of these bags have that microfiber lining, and I like that the microfiber lining in the Pochette Métis is darker because I do feel like the bags that I have that have this internal lining like this gets dirty a little bit quicker, so I would probably try to protect it in some way. I don't want to have to think about that all the time with my bags. At this point in my life, I want to be able to wear them and enjoy them and not think about always protecting them. So I do feel like that's a drawback with the Samur BB is I'll probably be worrying more about keeping this bag looking pristine than wearing it in good health and just going about my business. That's just me. That might not be you. That's something to consider if raw vachetta not tanning evenly bothers you like it does me. Now you can see with the interior of the Samur BB, there's no slip pocket, there's no zip pocket. It's just one open pocket to fit your things and then the pockets on the back. I love the functionality of the Pochette Métis, okay? It's got this back pocket. It's got these 2 middle pockets. It used to have another little slip pocket here that they removed. And I think with the East-West Métis, they actually added back like the little zipper in the middle. I really like that. That's a feature. I like zippers everywhere. I like pockets everywhere. So I like that they added that back. The problem for me with the East-West Métis is I would have preferred a little bit more room if they had just given us like another inch, I think, or another half an inch. It might have fit a phone. And that's the one drawback with the East-West Métis that I really don't appreciate. The other thing is the East-West Métis is almost $3,000 versus this one less, $2,500, $2,570 or something like that. And with the East-West Métis, it's a little bit smaller and you get a full-size purse with the regular Pochette Métis. So just something that I was thinking about. Let's get into the straps. For the Pochette Métis, I love that they give us a nice monogram strap with this bag instead of a vachetta strap because it's already minimal vachetta. I remember when this bag released, it was such a hot storm for this bag because it had minimal vachetta. It had all the functional pockets. It fit everything that you needed. You could wear it all the time. All you had to do was just try to protect as much of the vachetta as possible. For me, if it rains, I just turn the bag inside to my body so that it protects the front vachetta there. This strap is adjustable. It's nice and hefty. It says Louis Vuitton engraved on both sides. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, but I remember having the previous Pochette Métis and that strap had 7 holes, but this one is a lot more flexible versus the original was a little bit more stiff. The straps that they're giving us with the Samur BB is this nice little padded short strap as well as this nice long adjustable vachetta long crossbody strap. It does say Louis Vuitton engraved on both sides, but the difference for me is this little piece right here that holds the strap, keeps it from fluttering out. It's easily able to adjust on the Pochette Métis versus the Samur BB strap. I don't like that we can't do that. It's stuck in place. If this strap starts to flutter out, there's nothing you're going to be able to do except try to get it back close to your body. That's the one drawback on this hand strap that I see. But other than that, I love the fact that they're actually giving us more holes to make it adjustable with 8. It's gonna fit really well for anybody who's shorter or taller or medium height. I like the fact that we have a lot more flexibility with adjusting this belt than with some of the other straps that Louis Vuitton has given us, like the jacquard straps that are non-adjustable. Also, like I said, I don't like that we can't adjust this little piece of leather here to keep the strap in place. The other thing I don't like about the little handheld strap, the little strap that goes on your shoulder here, is I think there's not enough room. There's not enough of a strap drop between the bag and your shoulder. When you wear this hand strap with the bag with the Samur BB, it gets the bag right up under your armpit, and I really don't like that feeling. Personally, it just feels a little bit too close up under there for me, and so I don't really know if people are planning to wear this bag on their wrist like this or on their elbow like that, but personally, I'm more of like a shoulder carry bag kind of girl or a crossbody bag kind of girl. I feel like I get a lot more comfort and ease when I'm wearing the Pochette Métis or any of my other bags because there's just a little bit more space and room under my arm. That's just me. I don't know if it bothers anybody else or if anybody else noticed that. But the other thing too is that I just believe that, and you know, you all tell me, I've seen a lot of the comments. A lot of us feel like the Samur BB could have been a little bit bigger at Louis Vuitton. I'm not really sure why these were the dimensions. I wish Louis Vuitton would come out and ask us first before they started dropping all these releases. Hey, you want it a little bit smaller? Like, interact with the crowd a little bit, interact with the community a little bit. I mean, give us something, Louis Vuitton. I do like that they pulled forward an old vintage model and gave us a smaller version of the Samur 30. I just wish it was a little bit bigger, that it had pockets, that it was pre-treated, that the strap was a little bit longer for this one. So I don't know if that feels like there's too many wishes missing from this bag to make it appealing enough to keep. But personally, there were just a few things off from Louis Vuitton really hitting this bag out of the park versus some of the other bags that we have or that I've seen. I really think that Louis Vuitton thought about things a little bit more. The other thing that I'll say in difference between these bags that I appreciate about the Samur BB that I do think Louis Vuitton, I wish they had done something about regarding the Pochette Métis is the glazing, okay? Is the fact that the Samur BB comes with this leather trim, leather vachetta trim around the front of the flap. I love the Pochette Métis for the flap. Easy in, easy out. I love a zipper too for that matter. However, I previously had the Pochette Métis, and one big thing, one terrible thing that is really bad about Louis Vuitton is the cracked canvas. My Pochette Métis cracked right here on the back corner. I also have experienced cracking with some of my other bags. I remember when I took my old Pochette Métis in, they couldn't reglaze it. I think they were looking at doing a repair to reglaze it, but that was out of the question. So I ended up being able to get a refund to exchange it for something else. And I ended up getting a new Pochette Métis. Now, Louis Vuitton concerns me with the Samur BB because they really did a good job with the trim here on the canvas, but they failed to carry the trim all the way to the back, probably because they weren't sure how to cap it off, how to tie it down and sew it down. But I think that over time, this could probably lead to cracking on the back area because it is a flap bag. I could be wrong because this one is sewn together with microfiber lining. The Pochette Métis is sewn together with glazing and another piece of canvas. I also experienced cracking on the Ivy Walk, and I believe it was a similar setup to the Pochette Métis, and I hadn't even had that bag for very long before that one started to crack. So I'm not entirely sure if people who have the Samur BB will experience cracking because it's sewn down to the microfiber interior lining. But I'm not entirely sure. I would really love to know from the community who has this bag as they go about wearing it, how does it wear on those corners? How does that hold up over time? You can see by the bottom of the bag, the Pochette Métis is about 2.5 inches versus the Samur BB depth is 3 inches, and you can clearly see there's a little bit more depth to it. The thing that I prefer about the Pochette Métis is that when it expands a good 3 inches, maybe even 4. That's really if you're stuffing it, so be careful. Samur BB, even if you try to expand it and give it a little bit more room, it's not going to expand by much. So that's also something to consider when you are looking at buying this piece, because this is the newer piece. And like I said, the Pochette Métis, the newer model is the East-West Métis. But if you're going back in the day, or you're going back to the resale market, or you're going in store to find the old Pochette Métis, then at least this gives you some idea of how these two stack up. So if this review was helpful to you, then I hope you liked the video. Subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Remember to go over and check me out on Instagram and TikTok, KBotLV. Help girl grow. I love engaging with my community, so thank you for all the questions and comments that you have been dropping, everybody. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, and I will see you in the next one.